the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. Again, today was very interesting. We start to see that opening of the day pushing into those local highs, but ultimately the Nasdaq specifically is getting rejected at 21,050. We saw the Dow again push all-time highs, make new all-time highs as the market opens, going into 45,120. We saw ES pushing back into highs as well. Again, early parts of the day, even try to push back into those all-time highs right there as well. So for the better part of today, right, going into the session, great action. Once markets open, I think the Nasdaq paints the clearest picture of that downside that kind of took place. When you look in the market, I think the Nasdaq paints the ugliest picture on everything, right? Because the Nasdaq, again, drops around roughly at lows, like 400 points, give or take, right? Really big downside. But what I will say is you're still trying to hold up. Now, again, the thing I keep seeing is feels like, oh, this is a bear flag. This is a bear flag. I mean, let's say this is hypothetically, you're playing out like a bear flag. Let's just say it. Let's get rid of all the drawings. Let's say this is a bear flag, which it's not, in my opinion. You still haven't had broken out of it to the downside. I would argue, you haven't broken down, false breakdown on the day. But the other thing I would think about, again, what I try to tell people, when you're looking at continuation patterns, is understand, are you looking in continuation of that direction? If I look at the Nasdaq over the past 2 years, you've been in an uptrend. You're grinding the 200 SMA, very bullish behavior. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for, on the daily chart, a bear flag. If I go to the 1 hour, it's clearly not a bear flag either. So things I'd be thinking about, right? But what I will say is overall right now when I'm looking at the market, there's a few things that do concern me. And those all kind of go back into one subject, and that's semiconductors, which is what I've been saying is this is the weakest area of the market. You're getting back below 239, a major key level, and you're getting below the 200 SMA. You did hold above the 200 SMA, which was big. I can only put so much emphasis. You needed to hold that level. Okay. That was a major focal point of what you had to do. I'm sorry. I look divine right now. It's the sun. So again, you needed to hold that on SMH. Good behavior. I go look through XLK Mag 7. Yeah, you pulled back, but again, you zoom out and identify where you're at. You're just trending at highs, basically. There's not a big concern here. SMH is a lot more of an aggressive pullback. Again, going back into Dow, not the greatest close on the day. You're below 45,000. But again, you're still well above your previous all-time highs there as well. So this is the thing that I have to keep reining people back in of understanding where we're at. Okay, again, because as you're looking at this, what do we know right now? It's Thanksgiving week. We expect worse volume. We don't expect good volume. We don't expect continuation. I don't expect a breakout in either direction. And actually, I want to just take you back for a second. Let's just go back to the past of what happened last Thanksgiving. Let's just really quickly, we're just going to zoom back to last November 25th, the last week of November, right? This last week of November, again, pretty hilarious when you look at it. You're moving up all of November. Reminds me of a little something here. And then going into basically that last Monday, the 27th, through there. Essentially downside. There's not too much question about it. It's essentially downside into that last week. And the week before that was a lot of chop here. So for the last week and a half of November, it was chop and downside. And then you proceeded to run into basically the end of December. You had a dip, and then you ran through January. We're not going to talk about that. Remember all those big bad bears that said the market was going to flop. Crazy. Now we look how we're moving. Beginning part of November, election, rally up, kind of stagnating, little chop. Obviously, the big pullback right there, but now stagnating back up. I mean, I'm looking at this behavior, and again, it's nothing that should surprise you. You look at volume as well. Again, your volume here. 30 million. It's slowly going down. I will say yesterday's volume, all in all, was decent. 45 million, 10 million in the after hours, but still, okay? It's going to be really dry on Friday. Understand that's a half day of trading on Friday, so don't get crazy there, okay? That's the biggest thing. What I would say right now, whether you're super bullish, super bearish, how do you hit the brakes, like I've been saying, wait for next week, Monday as it comes in, okay? Wait for volume to come back into the market. That's where you get a clear-cut direction of understanding real continuation, because right now you're not getting continuation. Only that's getting continuation is really the Dow, okay? The next part after this, okay, is you want to get volume in that overall direction, and you're more than likely going to run in a specific direction for the better part of what's going to happen in December. So those are definitely things that I think I'd be prepared for and watching for broad markets. when you get lower volume, it's not the best time to trade. And it's a holiday week. Things to understand there. Now, the other part of this too, guys, if you're not following on Twitter, I have to always give myself a shout out. I recommend doing so. The link is down below. I'm going to be doing chart requests tonight as well, just to let you know. I did do 27 requests. And by the way, if you spam me like 5 different charts, I'm just going to block you because you're just taking away from everyone else. So understand that. We'll be doing chart requests. I'll try to go through a better part of these, okay? The next part too. I have not gone over Lux Algo, what they're doing for their sale. The link is going to be on Twitter and it'll be down below. But they're having a big sale. I think they're doing like 65% off on some annual subscriptions. And again, you don't see it all the time in my videos here because I like to keep my charts clean so you can just see everything for yourself. But again, the biggest thing that I love is their volume indicator down here. They're working on a VRVP one for me too. I actually sent it to them like last month. They just haven't got back to me yet. But again, things we're looking at there as well. So and they have your fair value gaps as well to make everything super simple for you if you use fair value gaps. Again, I don't use those, but if you use ICT and things like that, it's all there for you. Again, super cheap. Again, the link will be down below. Just got to give you guys the update on that as well. Also, if you're interested in our Discord, there, obviously Black Friday sales going on. Do with that as you will. I think we're out of mentorship spots, or there might be one left. But yeah. So anyways, what we're looking at there. So again, better part of this video, I'm going to go over more of the stocks I'm looking at into next month. I don't want to do short-term stuff right now because I would rather Monday, the weekend, come back up, and then I'll go over that. So I'm going to go over equities that I'm liking and setups that I like overall. Okay, number one, I mentioned it yesterday. I posted this on Twitter as well. I love what Amazon is doing here. Okay, your support was right here around 206 to 205. Better part of the day, you held that level. As long as you hold that, you look really good. Now, if you start to lose 204.8, you could pull back to 203, then 201. But I'd be looking for that upside, especially with continuation from the market if we start seeing buyers step back in, okay? So Amazon's one of the strongest names out there. You have a gap fill at 211. Looks good. Meta. Now, I've loved and I've tried to trade this to the downside. Honestly was begging. I think I went to sleep one night praying about Meta getting decimated as a company. And I wanted to see this, push down to 544. You just never got it, right? Right now, Meta is holding up pretty damn good. Above 565, it's a trade back into 574, like I've mentioned a few times. Holding 574 has you pushing into 583, and then over 583 back into 594, 600. So I like Meta a lot with how it's moving. Take a screenshot of the key levels if you need them. Netflix, also interesting. I like what Netflix is doing. One, you're holding this level here around 863, 864. Number one, your next big level is going to be like around 840. But in my opinion, what Netflix is doing with their streaming service and what they did with the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. Now, you can think that fight is dumb. You can also say, well, the quality was trash. You can say it was choppy. It was terrible. It was this, it was that. Okay, I agree. Those are all valid things. And honestly, I was talking to my wife about it, and she made a good point. She was like, Tyler, why would you think the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight would stream in high quality if they couldn't even do they did apparently there's a show Love is Blind, I think. They did a live reunion, and apparently that crashed too. So point of the story, my wife, who knows nothing about the stock, knows that Netflix crashes when they run live events. I think eventually they'll fix it. The big part is there's a giant audience on Netflix. I think Jerry Jones even said that during the whole fight thing. So I think Netflix, yeah, there's some bad news there with it, but I think the good outweighs the bad. And I think their next earnings, it's going to be really interesting. So I like Netflix a lot here. As long as you hold above 860 and 840, you look good. If you break below 860, I'd be looking for 840, but I still think buyers are trying to step in here as well. Apple. This is, again, probably my new top chart. It probably is. You're going to see me I'm going to be the dude from Dune who's Lisa Alga. That's me with Apple right now. I'm telling you right now. Again, this is a daily chart going back into June. You are making higher lows, a flat top at 237.5. This is an ascending triangle. You are trying to break out here. This is textbook of what you want here. Now, am I saying you're going to run to 260? I don't want to give a clear-cut target price discovery. We know things get crazy there. But this looks amazing, especially on a giant Mag 7 name like Apple. So, again, love to see it. Will Apple beat NVIDIA to $4 trillion? I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions. It would be cool if so. But, yeah, NVIDIA, Very important to talk about here. Now, let's talk quickly about what we're looking at here. So previous all-time highs were 140. Back above 140.7, that's when I really get bullish back on NVIDIA. I want to make that abundantly clear, okay? Above that levels, you get very bullish on NVIDIA. Now, these other levels, you're below 136. That's bad. You got down to 132 and bounced. Thank God, okay? Very important there. I still like NVIDIA dated. If you're going into with a long-term mentality, I think you starting a position makes sense, but don't fully size in. You're looking to average down if you dip. That's my mentality, okay? Now, the other part here is SMH, semiconductors. Again, you put in a decent daily candle here, right? You're holding the 200 SMA. You better hold the 200. If you don't hold the 200 SMA, this is bad. You look at the other semis, AVGO. I told you guys this was bad under 165. One of the worst looking charts. Room down to your 200 SMA. AMD pulling back as well. Okay, hit 132, 133 again. Now AMD, interesting. So there's this idea going around, and it is fake news. It's totally fake news that Pelosi bought AMD. Okay, and this is true. This is like totally, people are spreading this right now. I made a TikTok about it, which don't judge me for making a TikTok. Okay, we're actually at 100,000 subscribers on TikTok, believe it or not, right? So everyone's saying breaking, Pelosi bought this. This is not confirmed that it's Pelosi. I want to make sure everyone knows this because you're going to see this fake news everywhere. Understand, this is not confirmed yet. That is a lie. Okay. Now, I will say it looks a lot like a position Pelosi would buy, based on AVGO, Nvidia, etc. It looks a lot like it. So would it surprise me at the next filing that it comes out she bought this? No. But I just want to make sure it's not confirmed so people don't just start YOLOing into a Pelosi position, right? And you guys love those things. So again, really interesting. I mentioned it. It looks cool. But again, understand that. And I will tell you right now, if you're buying AMD, you can only be buying AMD as a long-term investor point at right now. It is not a day trading opportunity. This is a dangerous chart. This is your last line of defense at 132, like 132.5. Below this, I mean, I got your 200 weekly moving average at 113, 115. Maybe you find support at like 122. I don't know. But be very, very, very careful if you break below 132. I'm telling you right now. Very, very, very concerning. Google is holding up at the 200 SMA. Again, I think Google could be in trouble over the next few months, weeks. But I mean, you held your level, your 200. I said underneath the 200, you're going short, but you held it, got above that previous neckline point right there. Looks good. Trying to hold again, inherently strong name. I like Microsoft a lot. I really, 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 really do. Okay, I really do. We had the trade in Discord today. It was choppier than I would have liked. Still, trade worked out eventually, right? But what I will say here on Microsoft, holding above 200 is the most important thing. 430 has been a brick wall. That's basically all you need to know on Microsoft. Again, mid, small caps I like too. Square, love it. Big fan. Roblox, really interesting where it's at as well. Pretty interesting. Shopify, you guys know I love this one as well. Bouncing off of 110, pretty awesome. Robinhood, I got into this a long time ago. I'm not buying at this point any longer. Reddit, I'm no longer a buyer. You're just too high. We need to see a big dip. Kava, no longer a buyer. You need to see a big dip. Again, these names are of all names I mentioned, but again, they're just too high now. Upstart, not a buyer anymore. You got to get a big dip. Again, people don't like hearing this, but it's the truth. I mean, if you bounce off of $73, cool, but you're just buying so high. I think I mentioned it at $35, $40. Like, it's tough. Affirm, another big player here. We mentioned it at 46.5. On the break of this, I said, if you break him out, 46.5, it's a hammer. You did. So again, these are all awesome names that are playing out. Zillow's another big name, right? Playing out. Some of the other real estate stocks that are riskier, Open Door, getting above the 200 finally, but I'd be really careful. Like Open Door, Redfin, I think. What is the ticker for Redfin? I don't even know the ticker. RDFN, okay? Bouncing as well. It looks decent. You just got to be really, really careful. That's the number one thing I can say is be careful on these names. I think Zillow's the clear winner out of these names. But again, still looks decent. Still looks all right. Also, too, right? Am I giving enough shout out to Home Depot? Home Depot, I kind of love it. Kind of love it. Your all-time highs, you're breaking out here. You can see as long as you hold above 420, you love it. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families. Again, enjoy the day off. I think sometimes, including myself, we get obsessed with the charts. We over fixate on things that we can't really control. I'm guilty of it. I'm one of the guiltiest people of it, right? I live and breathe this. This is what we do every single day. But again, like days like tomorrow are days you get to just have some quiet, enjoy your family, what really matters out there. So I appreciate you guys for all the support, the subscribers, all of you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you on Friday.